This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com.
The Kingdom of East Anglia saw the birth of their greatest son, an Anglo-Saxon warrior destined to be a champion for the ages and a national treasure for all time.
This is kind of a different type of video. It's something that kind of confused me and confounded me, and I wondered if anybody ran into the same kind of issue. I've been painting a lot of patron stuff as of lately, and I've been using a lot of contrast paints that it helps me cut some of the time and some of the area out. What I've run into, though, is that when I go to use the GW contrast, the Citadel color Rathbone or the Gray Seer, I find that I burn through this quicker than if I used this or even this Army Painter. Now I also use sometimes a Krylon, depending on desperation. I'll only use the white because I've ran into some bad experiences with this spray paint. But I had 3 copies of a particular game, which I'm actually going to show you, that everybody wanted painted and had waited for almost 2 years to get done. And that was Zombicide Invaders. It finally came out, and of course I decided to paint all 3. Using the Rathbone and the Gray Seer, for 75 miniatures, I pretty much almost went through the entire can. And when it would spray, it was almost like talcum powder coming out in some ways. It'd go on fantastic. I also used it for some Batman miniatures I'm working on, and it goes on perfectly. This is the Gray Seer. As you can see, it doesn't bubble up or anything like that, and I didn't have any issues whatsoever. But I took the same set and decided to spray it with the Army Builder, and I decided to do it black and do it differently. This was for actually one of my sets that I was doing. The same 75 miniatures, and the cans, you could tell a big difference. This is way lighter and this is heavier. I can probably do another box set with this. But this, I don't even think I get halfway through a box set. And I noticed it when I was doing a couple of other projects that I was doing, that I did not get the amount of coverage that I wanted to. Now, in the same instance, I used their regular Corax White, which I used also with the contrast paints, just trying to not so much cut corners, but I felt the paint came out a little bit better. It came out differently than this. Now listen, I'm no paint expert or anything like that, and maybe this is some kind of special paint or something, but again, when I used the Gray Seer instead of the Rathbone, I found that this can here actually lasted a lot longer than anything to do with the contrast undercoat. And the same thing with the Chaos Black. I had the same type of issues. Now this is going on over 6 games where I painted 3 games of each game. First one was Zombicide Invader, and then the second Zombicide, which had a few more miniatures, but I blew through almost the entire can. And I just wondered if anybody else was having the same experience, or am I losing my mind, which could very well be. But it almost seems as if this paint somehow is different than this paint or this paint. Now, in comparison, to be fair to GW, I also used this Army Painter, and a Corax white. Actually, I think it was a Blood Angel red, which was the same, and I was painting some Space Marines. And after I was done with equal amounts that I had split between the two cans, I found that they felt pretty much the same, and I felt that I can go the distance. And it wasn't a matter of being different angles or anything like that with any of the figures. It was just something that was really, really different. And I just wonder, because you can almost see on the top of this can when it comes out how different it is. You don't get that on these other cans. It actually comes out a lot wider. See, I've used this, and I don't get that overspray the way I do. And that confused me beyond belief. And let's look at the black even to prove our point. I mean, that's nothing, okay, compared to this. And it seems to go all over the place, and it's something that I'm very confused on, even to the point that it's actually hitting the edge of the camera. It actually comes out wider. So I tried to group my figures a certain way, which was very strange, and how not just one can, but 4 different cans, I got the same result. Less coverage with these Citadel colors, particularly the ones that are made for the contrast paints. Maybe it's something I don't know. Maybe it's something that you're experiencing, but I think you have to beware that when you go to get this and you're thinking you're taking a shortcut, you're actually not. You're actually not getting as much coverage as you would the regular GW primer. So I hope this helps somebody. I know I've learned a lesson that I will only use this for certain types of figures that I really feel that I'm going to be using a majority of the contrast for. So hopefully this helps you and gives you a good idea of what's going on. Until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon.